To Deepa, when you go to the bathroom, ensure there's no papers on the table.
Yeah, make sure you have your security lock on your phone.
Yes,
On the
absolutely.
phone
There's
too,
sneaky
yeah.
moms
This is
around.
helicopter mom.
Absolutely. So, Shailaja, what about you? Has the gender really come, or have we moved out of a phase
You
where?
know, like me and my sister, no boys at home.
Okay.
And my father is a businessman. He's a hatchery man. And I'm from a place called Chittoor, and I always grew up with the thought that I will have to run my dad's business,
Okay.
you know. So somewhere along I never felt I'm a girl, I have to be shy,
Okay.
you know, I shouldn't be talking to men. I mean, I didn't grow up that way. So, you know, I always, I wonder why they ask this question, like, how do you feel, you know, being a woman and doing the business? Because I never thought like I have to be like a woman, you know.
Yeah.
I think it's the way you're brought up and the kind of education you got as a child.
Right.
All that helps you to take on this world.
Right. So, we can safely assume that I suppose the gender bit really doesn't
Yeah, it
matter.
really
It's
doesn't.
about.
It's only one thing that we all worry, women, you know, to be going on the streets late nights, or if we have to go to an alien country, you know, as it's a universal problem,
Right.
you know, that's the only thing that a woman worries about and nothing else.
Right.
But even
Nothing
that,
else.
in Delhi maybe,
Even
not in
that
Bombay.
is-
No, like, you know, across the world it is there. It is there in America. So,
I don't know.
what are we talking about, you know?
All right.
So,
This
you know,
we
we're
can
all worried
experience.
about the safety part.
Right.
That's the only thing, and there's nothing else that a woman can't do.
Correct.
Yeah, women are more focused, more determined, more hardworking.
And more intelligent.
Men are more
And
compassionate.
more accomplished. We have three versus
Men are
one.
more compassionate.
Men are dogs.
Men are darlings.
Men are
You know
dogs.
that,
For
that's
every
why they let them.
entrepreneur out there, please
You
have a
know?
dog at home. They're the
Right.
biggest stress buster.
Especially if there's no man in
ever.
your life.
Yeah, sure. sure.
Right, right. Okay, we've got just about 10 minutes to go. So, before we sort of wrap up this session, let's get their mantras. I mean, what are the three things they think, from their point of view, is the good life we're talking about, and what they plan to do in future to probably include that or make better. Shailaja, if you could tell me.
Like, I don't mean that good life means partying and, you know, going for movies every week and dining out every week. I really don't think that is just good life.
Right.
A good life is not just about the present, but it's also about the future, keeping the family together, having values. You know, really, I think discipline is part of good life, because that's going to keep the family out of, you know, getting into trouble, you know. And being compassionate, you know, thinking about others, being friendly, you know, learning so much more about how to experience the nature, how to experience the people. So every day, you know, the time that you spend with your children, trying to talk to them, trying to know what they are, and then trying to give them whatever you can from your experiences. This is all part of good life, according to me.
Okay, and is there any unfulfilled dream as part of this that you probably want to do it in this year?
This year, nothing of that kind. Yes, I always earn to have a little more time and maybe be a little more relaxed, because from the kind of industry that I am, you know, like it's a little more stressful than probably other industries are. Like, you know, I also run Kalanjali, probably Hema would be knowing it. So we also deal in arts and crafts, and that's kind of a stress buster for me, you know, after doing the number crunching here. So you try to figure out your own ways of de-stressing.
All right.
Yeah.
What about you, Mahesh?
So I realized a long time ago, I think the reason I left college and dropped out was I think I heard a Pink Floyd song called Time, which really, she mentioned time to, which talked about, you know, taking away the moments that make up a dull day. You fritter and waste the hours in an offhand way. And I figured that I was just frittering and wasting away the hours in an offhand way, and I did not want to do that anymore. So I actually stopped going to college, and as a result got kicked out of the house, etc. And I was on the streets of Hyderabad here for a long time.
Right.
And since then I've been reasonably clear, in, even after my 30th birthday revelation, that the only asset I have is time.
Okay.
And money doesn't really, right, make the... Then I figured that, you know, she's got a different outlook on life and she's got one. And for me, I think the only thing I figure out is, you're successful when you're able to use all your time exactly the way you want.
Exactly,
Yes.
Right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
That's success.
Absolutely.
When you own your time, is success,
Yes.
right? When you don't have to do things that you don't want to do, but you have to do, that's
Yes.
success, right?
Yes.
So it's about just continuously working to minimize that. For me, it's been about uncluttering my life. Especially in the last 4-5 years, I've uncluttered my life. There was a marriage that didn't work, got out of it. So I'm a single dad, happy, I live alone, right? So just taking stuff out. I, had clutter of books, clothes. I sold 2/3 of my clothes,
Okay.
threw them out, right? Just unclutter, just basically take stuff out,
Okay.
right? Live a simple life, get as much time as possible to do what I want to do. Now, I'm not an outgoing guy, I'm not an extrovert. I like being at home, I watch movies, hang out with my kids or, whatever, or travel.
Right.
So as far as unfulfilled dreams, yeah, travel. I'd like to go to space sometime. I hope I can do that in my
This
lifetime.
year? This year?
No, not this year, but this year, I mean, there's still a long list. There's some 200 countries in the world. I'm
Okay.
almost halfway there, but I still,
Okay.
there's a long way to go there, right?
Right.
So there are a few things, but there's no particular hurry, not, by the age of X, I have to
Okay.
go to, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है.
Okay.
होगा तो होगा, नहीं होगा तो ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं.
Okay, 0 on 10 again.
Yeah, so there's no tension. So essentially for me, happiness is when you own your time and you don't really have regrets.
All right.
I remember Jeff Bezos being asked at one point, how did you make your decision
Okay.
on starting Amazon versus something else? And he used a very interesting phrase. He said, I use my regret minimization framework,
Awesome.
which is one of the things I said, what's my life going to be where I have the least amount of regrets and I'm going to do that?
Okay.
So I think that's in some ways basically even what I'm doing. I said, do something, do all the things you have to do where you don't want to ever go back and say, man, I regret, I wish I'd done something else.
Right,
Just
right.
take the decision. It might hurt in the short term, but just get done with it
Right,
and clean up your life.
So in short, good life for you is basically have the choice to do what you want to do or what not to do at any point of
No
time.
regrets, have no regrets whatsoever.
All right.
Just follow your heart, have no regrets.
What about you, Hima?
For me, every day having a finite amount of time for myself
That it's
to
good
do
life,
stuff
yeah.
that I love to do. It could be a 20-minute brisk walk in the morning. It could be 20 minutes of yoga. I don't
Okay.
get everything done every day. But yes, I have to learn something new. I'm passionate about reading about different, aspects of things that interest me. I spend a lot of time by myself, and I enjoy that the most. The second part is my work, and the
So the
third,
me time is probably what
and
essentially
everybody
defines you.
around me understands that me time is important for me. And the more amount of time I feel I have invested in myself, that has made me a more, a more productive person when I have to give myself to what requires my focus outside of myself. And every time you choose to do something, I have chosen to do a lot of fun things with my kids. I've gone trekking with them, I've gone birding with them, I've gone yachting.
Okay.
We went scuba diving
Okay.
recently. I wanted to visit Pondicherry and check out the pottery scene in Pondicherry because pottery is what I do.
Okay.
So took the kids and we threw in a scuba diving learning session as well.
Okay.
So every time, especially being a social entrepreneur, I can't say I've had, huge profits enough to go on expensive holidays. But
Okay.
whatever little I could, put aside to travel, I think we've made the best of it. And I think each person, has their own mantra. But for me, the time that I think I've spent by myself, invested in myself, and with the people I really love, I think that's really made a difference.
what's
I'm
your-
part of this amazing groups of women from ISB as well as the alumni exchange program of the US Department of State. I had this amazing opportunity to go on a leadership program in 2012.
Okay.
That was another amazing experience where I had to travel out for 3 weeks. I had never left home for 3 weeks in a row.
Okay.
It was during my children's final exams, and I was miserable after 10 days of being outside. I was terribly homesick, calling home, and kids said, "We're perfectly fine. I don't know what you're sad about, but we are totally fine and not missing you. Do whatever you need to do. Extend your trip if you need." And
Yeah.
I don't know, there were people after the program going off to this place and that place to see their, folks, and all I wanted to do was to go back home. I just think I'm too much of a,
Okay.
of a micromanaging mom. I have no clue what I am. But
Right. And what else
Yeah.
coming up this year? Is there something that you want to do?
Not really. I think this is the last year of me dealing with my kids and school. My son is in college. He now studies in Dehradun, so I don't have to, really worry about him too much.
So you logged
I'm
out of his
waiting.
account.
Oh yeah, totally. And Deepthi will go out next year.
All
So
right.
I really am looking forward to
Kicking
life
her out.
after. Yeah, totally. She knows that I'm looking forward to kicking her out.
All right.
And I'm waiting for what happens after.
Right. Right. So we just have about 2 minutes left, and so you understood they're all having great life. Any one question anybody wants to ask? Yes, please. The lucky man who got a prize also. Very quickly.
Hey Vivek, you can shout it out.
Alright, so my name is Vivek. Basically this question is a little personal to me. So I usually say that if you don't organize yourself, outsource. You can outsource it to technology or different people and all that stuff. Now, basically I want to know, do you use technology to organize your lives better? And if so, could you give us tips or any particular technology that you really trust that could help us organize our work, etc. better?
Mahesh is the guy.
He said he works from the phone, right?
Yeah, so I'm happy to help. So I basically use something called Slack. Many of you may know what it is. It's basically
Spell that, please.
SLACK, Slack.
Slack. Okay.
Slack, right? I have 8 of my companies on Slack.
Whoa.
And so essentially what happens is and each of these, Slack is like a WhatsApp for groups or organizations where you can have channels that discuss different things. I see stuff go by. If I see I need to interrupt, I go and interrupt. If not, I let it flow, right? So it's really nice. Then I use Google Keep as a notepad, and I share that with my assistant. I have 2 assistants. Plus, I have a housekeeper who's also on WhatsApp. It's amazing. My maid's on WhatsApp, right? So
Yeah.
Awesome.
my maid is completely on WhatsApp. In fact, I remember the first time I wasn't waking up or something, and I suddenly got a WhatsApp with a picture of a aloo paratha saying "Are ho?" question mark. Right? Am I coming down for dinner? So wherever I travel, my maid WhatsApp or Facebooks me and says, "Saab kab aa rahe ho? Kya kar rahe ho?" So my technology is being able to talk to my maid. So what she does with her daughter, as in warm up the food, is what I do with my maid, saying, "Aa raha hu, nahi aa raha hu, khana rakho, nahi
So she's
rakho."
the woman behind you, the successful.
Oh, absolutely. I have a maid, I have a housekeeper, I have a cook, I have a driver, right? That makes and I have 2 assistants, right? So
Right.
I'm glad that I'm fortunate enough to be able to afford something of the sort.
Right.
Plus, I use a lot of technology. I mean, there's no other way. That's the only way I can get time to myself
Absolutely.
to do the things I have to do.
Right, right.
So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah. And one more question. Yes, sir. Yeah. Over there.
That's Priyadarshi K. Sehgal.
Yeah. First of all, congratulations on doing a great job among 3 women, Mahesh.
Thank you.
What is the one biggest regret that you have in your life? You're talking about a regretless framework, right?
He
Regret
just said he
framework.
has no regret.
What's the one biggest regret?
It's something personal, but there's no problem. My marriage started going sour about 12 years ago. And I stayed in it for 5 years, saying my kid needs me, X, Y, Z, blah, blah, blah. Within 2 weeks of getting out of my marriage, I said, I wish I'd done this 5 years ago. So I lost 5 years of my life living in a marriage that was not going anywhere. There's nothing wrong with her. She's a perfectly wonderful woman.
Awesome.
It's just that it didn't work anymore, right?
Okay.
So my one regret is that I stayed on in something that did not work, and I just learned a big lesson saying that sucked up 5 years of my life. It made things completely terrible and horrible. And now I just take decisions right up. Take it early, make the break fast. It's okay. It's much better. And I should have learned myself a long time ago that I was meant to live alone. I was meant to be a single dad, right? Or whatever, a single person. I didn't realize that early enough. And I kept trying to live up to what I thought were other people's expectations. The strangest thing, PK, was when I got out of it, I called my mom. And my mom is here, and I said, Mom, I want to tell you something. I don't know how you'll take it, but Mom, I'm getting out of this marriage. There was silence. And then my mom said, "Ek cheez puchum beta." And my mom speaks in Hindi with me. I said, "Haan ma pucho. Ye aapne 5 saal pehle kyun nahi kiya?"
Oh, awesome.
I said, kya matlab aapka? She says, your dad and me knew that it wasn't going well. So aapne bola kyun nahi? Because I was trying to keep it together for her and for my then in-laws. She says, "Beta, we're here with you. You be happy, and it's okay if you took it down. It was not our job to interfere, right?" So that was my one big regret. I don't know if it applies to you, but I wanted to share it.
Right.
Thanks.
Awesome, Mahesh. So I think we've got a lot of just from whatever they've said, and we are also, the time is up. I hope you all had a great, a great session here. And like the Ola cabs, please rate me because this is my first session as a moderator. And Satish, thanks for
5-star on 5-star.
So thanks Satish for sort of getting me here and talking to these awesome
I think
people.
that calls for a rice bucket.
Sorry?
I think that calls for a rice bucket.
Oh yeah, oh, okay. Thanks.
You must, it's an extraordinary story, the entire rice bucket story. Please, you must share it.
So very briefly, like all of you, I saw the ice bucket challenge videos, and I saw some ridiculous videos where people did without understanding what it was. So I thought, okay, when we can, sort of desify a lot of things. Instead of cheese, we put paneer and eat our pizza. So why not make it desify it? So I just said, what is this ice? Let's give rice to somebody. In India, we are all rice-loving people, rice-eating people. So let me give a bucket of rice to somebody and start my own challenge. So I think the master stroke of that was that I actually called somebody and gave him about 25 kgs of rice. And I clicked a picture and I posted it on Facebook. At that time, I had like 400 friends. And once I posted, I think people were very kicked about the idea that somebody from Hyderabad, regular working lady, has the guts to take on something like the ice bucket challenge. So immediately there was a small little press write-up, and from there I think friends shared it and commented, and I think in about a week everybody from CNN to Time, and I think about 240 TV channels, websites, newspapers, everybody featured, and I'm happy to say that we could generate about 150,000 kgs of rice so far. The concept is very simple. There are no funds collected, nobody collects rice. Each of you just react to it. You probably find one deserving person around you. It could be a hard-working person, probably a ATM guard or somebody in the parking lot, and give him some amount of rice, 5 kg, 10 kg. It's less than what we probably have a coffee, in a coffee shop these days. So I'm hoping that helps them. I mean, I've known of families who have a big budget for the rice, and because of that they couldn't probably send the kid to school or something. So give a bucket of rice, tag 3 of your friends, and get the challenge going. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much.